Hey, what is going on with y'all, man? It is Black Balloon, and I'm coming back with another video, so y'all already know what's going on. All right, y'all. Now we are finally here to the Owen Hart video. Pro wrestler Owen Hart, the legendary Owen Hart. This is for everybody that's asked me to do a video on Owen Hart over time. I know this video is long overdue. I probably should have got it done around the time I did the Chris Benoit video, which that was well over a year ago. I remember I redid the video when my channel was deleted just because it was like, you know, it was an important video to have on my channel. As far as the entertainment industry, especially with wrestling, to show y'all, especially the people that don't know too much about wrestling, that this stuff goes on across the board. Now, I know a lot of y'all wrestling fans out there. I know I have quite a bit that watch my channel. I could tell by the Chris Benoit video. You know, y'all already know all this stuff. You know, a lot of people may not know who this guy on the screen is. This is The Undertaker. But for y'all that do, you know, I guess just kind of bear with me through this video because not everyone grew up watching wrestling like we did. I grew up on it, just like a lot of other people, you know. So I think I fall in line like with, you know, my credentials in doing a video about wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Just a disclaimer. I think my top 3 favorite wrestlers was probably Sting, The Rock at one point, Rey Mysterio, Undertaker, and maybe The Big Show. That's just right off the top of my head. So I was definitely a super wrestling fan. I had the little toy rings, I had the toys, I had it all when I was growing up. But anyway, y'all, you know, we're here to talk about Owen Hart. And do we believe that his death was a lot more sinister than they give it to us? Did Vince McMahon have a hand in it? Was it a sacrifice for the entire WWE and the fact that the company was going public? And it did go public just about 4 months after Owen Hart died. Did Stone Cold Steve Austin have a hand in it? There is a lot of different theories behind Owen Hart's death. Now, when I started researching for this video just to, you know, get myself back in the mode of all this wrestling stuff and looking at all the different angles, I was like, damn, I didn't know where I really wanted to start because there's so much. You know, this is like truly a video that could be part 2, or it could just be, you know, something where we just kind of tackle the main theories and it would pretty much give you an idea of what happened to Owen Hart. Now, there is a lot. There's a lot of numerology to his death, and there's a lot of other symbolism that happened leading up to that night of the PPV event, Over the Edge. There's a lot of satanic stuff, a lot of satanic imagery involved in WWE. There was even something that I got for y'all that I'm going to show y'all in 1 second. It's not a clip, but it's a picture, and it's of a show that has something to do with Over the Edge. I want to show y'all that in a minute when I'm done talking. All right, so look, I figured why not, you know, make it all suspenseful and go ahead and get to what I have found. Now, this was absolutely crazy. As y'all can see on the screen, y'all know I'm going to find something just you probably would not have thought of that have relation to Owen Hart's death. But check this out. The New Batman Adventures, right? This aired on May 23rd, 1998. For everybody that knows, we already know Owen Hart died May 23rd, 1999. May 23rd, 1999. This aired May 23rd, 1998, exactly 1 year before his death. And the episode, you guessed it, Over the Edge. It's called Over the Edge, y'all. And it reads, during a fight with Scarecrow, Batgirl is ambushed on a rooftop and falls to her death. Oh my God. I mean, it's not funny, but y'all already know what I'm saying here. Think about this. The episode is titled Over the Edge. I guarantee you WWE had that Over the Edge pay-per-view event planned well a year out, basically, well before it actually went down. I guarantee you. We already know this stuff is scripted, y'all. Now, I get to it a little bit more in the video, later in the video, but we already know that stuff is scripted. This was exactly 1 year before Owen Hart's death. And that's why I was showing so many of these pictures of The Undertaker, because The Undertaker, he had the promo like as the start of the event. So it was already a dark, satanic theme to begin with for that night. And this is why later in the video, I'm going to explain it to y'all. But this is why I have to put the real version on Patreon. I had to redo the entire video because every clip that I used, WWE copyrighted it. But I'll explain this later in the video, and it'll be up to y'all if y'all want to see the entire version of this video. But when I found this, I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Everything man is determined to destroy can be found within his own heart. Everything man is determined to destroy can be found within his own heart.
So there's a lot to his death. There's a lot to WWE. There's a lot to Vince McMahon. Just for starters, the WWE logo, those like 2 W's in itself is a 33. It's basically a 33 laying down on its back, in a sense. So that right there already lets you know what we're getting started with when it comes to World Wrestling Entertainment, right? So we're going to start, for the people that don't really know who Owen Hart was and so on and so on, we're going to start with the official narrative of how Owen Hart died. Now, I do want to tell y'all this. I'm going to have to talk a lot in this video. Why? Because I originally put this video together, which I'm going to have to put my original format on Patreon, because if y'all know anything about the WWE, they copyright everything. If it has anything to do with the WWE, it has a copyright behind it. Now, I think I'm going to get away, because this is how I test copyrights. I'll take a clip that I'm going to use, right? I'll upload it to YouTube, leave it on there for like a day. Most major copyright, you know, it'll come within the first few minutes of you uploading the video. WWE will catch it immediately, because 2 of the main clips that I wanted to use, tried to upload it just, you know, its regular format, 6-7 minutes long. WWE copyrighted it immediately and blocked it in a bunch of countries, right? So another test is to shorten it down to the piece that you want. It has to be like no longer than 10 seconds. Those look like it's working so far. So we might be able to get some of those clips in 10-second formats to kind of, you know, have support to what I'm going to be talking about in this video. And they're really important, because that one with Stone Cold, when he basically was like kind of like reinstated with Vince McMahon.
When you damn near paralyzed Steve Austin, when you take what's taken me 8 years to get, I want his ass, but I want my belt back. So if I get that, you damn right, I'll sign my life away. I'll sign my life away.
That night, and Vince had him sign a contract in that little, you know, in that little episode. I wanted to show that entire clip, but I can't, because it's gonna get the video blocked and copyrighted. So I'm gonna try to squeeze out the most important piece from that clip. Also, the Undertaker super eerie, dark warlord, overlord, dark lord promo that night of Over the Edge is the most telling thing there possibly is, damn near, that has to do with Owen Hart's death. And I can't show the entire clip, and it's eating me away, because I can only show y'all 7 seconds, which was the most important piece from that clip. But the original version, the entire, you know, my true format of how I want to do this video is going to go on Patreon. So I advise y'all to go watch that video as well. This is no tactic or anything, you know. I just literally cannot upload it that way to YouTube, or the video it'll get blocked like everywhere, because I've already tested it with those clips. So it's forcing me to go back and redo the whole video. I don't want to redo it this way. Trust me, I'm having to redo the entire video. I've already did it. It's already in the format that I want it to be in. So if y'all want that original format, you can go sub to my Patreon, and I'll put it in the community tab, and I'll put it up under this video in the description. All right. So the first thing, like I said, we're going to get to is the original narrative of how Owen Hart died. So we're just going to jump into this article real quick. I'm going to read from the article like I always do. So check this out. All right, y'all. So we're going to quickly read from this article, you know, just to get a little overview of the official narrative of how Owen Hart died. So it says on May 23rd, 1999, boom, we already start off with heavy numerology toward his death. We all know 999 is basically 666, especially to the occult. And when it comes down to these ritual sacrifices, right? May 23rd gives you another 6 right off the back. Or in a sense, 2 divided by 3 gives you 0.666 as well. So with that being said, y'all already know what's going on right here. It says the wrestling world mourned the loss of the King of Hearts, Owen Hart. People behind the scenes on this unthinkable day reflect on the tragedy, answering all important questions. What went wrong, and why in the hell did Vince McMahon let the show go on? Boom. Now we already hit with something else. For all y'all that know, all you wrestling fans out there, you already know the show that night, pay-per-view Over the Edge, it went on after he died in the ring. This man fell 78 feet to his death, and Vince McMahon allowed that night for the show to continue going on. I think the main event was Undertaker and Stone Cold. You know, just right off bat, it just kind of makes you think about, okay, this was literally a ritual sacrifice in front of thousands of people. We got to remember this was on pay-per-view, so that's a whole, boatload more of thousands of people that, which why no film, no footage actually exists of the fall. Like, it's only owned by WWE. There's literally not a piece of footage on the internet. Doesn't even matter if it was. It wouldn't fly on any platform. It would get deleted, banned immediately. And we all know WWE is pretty powerful. Vince McMahon is a billionaire. They would never let all that stuff be out in the first place, which I think Vince McMahon just got subpoenaed for like a sexual misconduct kind of thing, if I'm not mistaken, or sexual assault in the last couple of days of research and all of this stuff. So he still has a bunch of shenanigans going on as well. It was a complete ritual. It's a huge ritual sacrifice, which is why they let the show continue on. Just to harvest that energy. There were a bunch of witches and warlocks that were there in attendance, and basically people feeding off of the life force of Owen Hart. And it may have not even been just that night when he died. It could have been leading up to it, because a lot of people think that he was just a real different up to the day that he died. So, of course, the night that he died, May 23rd, 1999, all of those witches and warlocks were feeding off of his life force. They were, they were literally harvesting the energy of his death. He died on the ring, y'all, in front of thousands. So, it's just like when any humans die and your soul releases right out of your body, that is energy. There's, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. It's why it was done in front of thousands of people. And I truly believe it was ultimately done in order for the company to go public. I don't even really think it was just one person behind it. You could be, the big name could be Vince McMahon. It could have been as well with Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I think multiple people knew about it. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, I think it was for the company to go public. It says 5 months before his tragic death, Owen Hart opened up to Slam Wrestling about his desire to soon leave wrestling. Quote, "When my contract is up, I'm out of wrestling. I've made plans. I've been smart with my fiscal affairs. Financially, I'll be set. I really want to devote a lot of time to my family. I bought some property on a lake. I plan on doing a lot of boating and fishing. I want to continue to stay in shape." And he, this was him just having major plans for getting out of wrestling, taking his money and just living life the way he wants to live life, right? So it says the stunt that led to Owen Hart's death. It says the whole idea just started so innocently. We had brought back Owen's old gimmick, which was a blue blazer. He was meant to be like a superhero, but a spoof on a superhero to really get over the comedic genius of Owen Hart. It was probably the Friday before the show. The show's already written. I get a call from Steve Taylor. He goes, "Look, I just got a call from the people who repelled Sting from the rafters. They said they're going to be at our pay-per-view. They want to know if there's anything that they may be able to do for the WWE." So while he's telling me this, I'm looking through the show and I see Owen, and I'm saying, well, that really elevate Owen's character. That'd be something really special and cool for Owen. What if we repelled the Blue Blazer? Now, mind you, they just told y'all this was a week or the Friday before the show. The prepping for it and all of that good stuff was no more than a week, right? They're literally telling you. It says, and this is coming from Vince's mouth, not Vince McMahon, but Vince Russo. So now during the day of the pay-per-view, Owen Hart comes up to me, and what he said was, I rehearse rappelling from the ceiling, but when I rappel down, it takes me a while to get my harness off. Vince McMahon said, earlier that day, my son Shane and I were out by the ring, walking through a physical bit we had to do that night, and I was shocked and surprised by Owen. He was descending to the ring in typical Owen fashion, yelling and raising hell. He was one of the biggest ribbers, as we call them in the business, a practical joker, a prankster. One time, he and Davey Boy Smith put goats in my office, and they made sure these goats were well fed beforehand. You can imagine how it stunk. It goes on to say that Vince Russo didn't feel like Owen was excited enough to him as himself and wanted to make him a superhero. Says Owen wasn't comfortable with it, but he had already turned down a few things that he wasn't comfortable with, and he didn't want to be Negative Nancy and be known as the guy who kept saying no, so he went along with it, and it didn't turn out well. Guys can get hurt, they're risking their lives, but that stunt was completely unnecessary. It was something that Owen was asked to do that he was not comfortable with. So the article says, still to this day, I blame Vince Russo, like a lot of people do, because for those who don't know, Owen, instead of being able to do a normal entrance into the ring and have a wrestling match, which is dangerous enough, they decided that he would make a superhero entrance and be lowered into the ring in his outlandish costume that Russo had booked him to be in. He was being lowered by a rigging company that didn't check the rigging or whatever. And there were lawsuits. Now, you know, this is very telling in itself, because Owen Hart was not comfortable doing the stunt. They were with a company that decided to call up out of nowhere and say, hey, yeah, we did this with Sting. You know, we want to help y'all tonight. Doesn't even make sense. We want to help y'all at the upcoming pay-per-view event. All right, cool. We got Owen Hart. Bet. That's what Vince Russo basically said. Bet. We already got something planned for Owen Hart here. The show 2 days away. Let's not even practice it or have y'all check anything. We just going to have him rappel down. This the whole setup anyway, so we can kill him, rig it, and, you know, the excuse is he let go and tried to come off the harness too early and fell to his death. That's the excuse. Well, they are, bro, the number one, WWE is completely scripted. Everything is written before they do it. It's all written. Vince Russo is one of the guys that was writing everything at that time. So everything is written, literally. When they come out there and they're on TV, they're in the ring, they're performing, they're having their little skits, all that stuff is rehearsed. So none of this is off coincidence or anything. So I'll let you know it was planned. For the pay-per-view Over the Edge, where the fatal accident occurred, it was decided that the stunt would be done using a nautical clip, which was designed expressly for the quick release of a sailboat mast. It is alleged that several stunt coordinators were asked to test it, and all but one refused, declaring it was crazy. Think about that. It says, what happened right after Owen Hart fell? I heard yelling, and I heard people saying that it was Owen yelling to get out the way. Dude was falling to his death and telling people to get out the way. He says, I can't confirm that, but I wouldn't doubt it knowing the kind of guy he was. He was coming down and probably saw a lot of people probably don't realize that right before that incident happened, there was a hardcore match and there was a lot of debris scattered in the ring. So, you know, that right there is crazy, y'all. That's the official narrative of what happened. But without even thinking about, you know, him being sacrificed, ritually sacrificed, and this all being done on purpose, just those facts alone about the company that requested to help them, you know, help with the stunt because they previously did it with Sting, all of it sounds to the normal person that doesn't even follow our, you know, our videos, stuff that we do, my channel, so on and so on. It's already sketchy. You don't have to be one of us to look at this story as like, oh shit, something don't seem right with this. He wasn't comfortable with it. Stunt doubles or, you know, whatever those guys were, they weren't comfortable with even testing the shit out. They were saying, this is crazy. But y'all will get Owen Hart, you know, to go up there and go with his, you know, little character shit with the blue blazer, blah, blah, blah. Y'all are comfortable in him doing it, but people who wanted, you know, who should have been testing it, they didn't even want to do it. You know, it's really nothing to explain. Just reading it right off bat goes to show you this was way more sinister than just him, you know, a complication from it and him dying. This was orchestrated. This was planned to the T, and this was a ritual sacrifice of Owen.